What is up? What's going on? You're probably wondering where my freaking shirt is. Athlete X doesn't wear a shirt, so I figured I wouldn't wear one either, right? These are your accolades if you want to talk about this kind of stuff, right? Top 3 things I recommend 100% for bodybuilding, fitness, longevity, and this bodybuilding and fitness. They're completely different, but they also come together at certain points depending on what your goals are, what you want to achieve. The number one thing I'm going to go ahead and start with is track your workouts, no matter what. You can get a notebook to do it, you can write it down on your phone, you can record it, you can do all sorts of stuff. But that is the first one I want to start with. The reason for that is you want to find out either on bodybuilding and fitness what workouts worked out for me, what splits, what days, how frequent I work out, the volumes I use. If you're on the bodybuilding side, you want to know what weights you use, because every time you want to increase, you want to have the progressive overload, as everyone always talks about, right? And the only reason, the only way you can do that is if you're tracking everything that you do. So I definitely recommend a notebook, especially if you have like a wife or something, because my wife leaves me notes. She wrote, "I love you," and then 3 years feels rewarding because we just had our 3-year anniversary, February 28th. So that was actually a really nice note to see there. I didn't see that until yesterday. And I have a couple of workouts already in here, but definitely tracking them. And then, so especially like when it comes to like bodybuilding, so your split, right? Everyone talks about this split works for me, this split works for me. You want to know, and it's not just bodybuilding overall, but there's also like power bodybuilding, what are those guys? Strongmen type of stuff. You really want to record that kind of stuff, because that also help prevent injury. I know it seems so like weird, and you're like, how's that going to prevent injury, dude? Basically, like it shows you like your progression, what you should start at each time that you decide to go back into working out, how far up you should go, whether or not you feel good. You write that down in your notes, like this felt good, but this did not feel good, and that really helps you to excel. The second thing I'm going to go over is messing around with calories, messing around with food intake, fats versus carbohydrates versus proteins. You definitely want to make sure you're getting enough protein no matter what you're doing, whether it's even if you're like a runner, right, and you just run all the time. You want to know how much protein you're getting in. For runners, it's always good to know like carbohydrates and fats, depending on how your body responds to those, which ones you want to take before you do a run. But your baseline that you could start with, I don't recommend them completely because they're not very accurate, is to go to like a calorie calculator, find out what it recommends as your base calories. Start off trying that for a month. It takes a while. It's not the easiest thing to do. It's definitely something that's going to help you explode. It's going to help you excel no matter what. And it usually takes I would say a month overall. And the reason for that is if your goal is weight loss, if your goal is gaining weight, then what you want to do is you want to weigh yourself once a week. So that'll be 4 times that you're going to weigh yourself, 4 weeks in a month, right? And you definitely want to, track it, of course, like I recommended. Track it and just see how well that your body responds to those calories. And then you can decide like, hey, I want to take it up an extra 300, or I need to drop it, an extra 150 or 300 in order to achieve my goals. And so calories are definitely important. That's something that you need to look into, especially when it comes to like bodybuilding. It's like calories in, calories out. You hear it all the time. The foods that you eat, whether or not it makes you bloat, how you feel eating certain foods and stuff like that is super important. So definitely track your calories, and that's not the easiest thing to do. It's one of the hardest things that you can do. But again, that all comes along tracking. So basically everything is just tracked, right? So the baseline is tracking your workouts. The secondary, once you get a little bit more serious, you want to track your calories. You want to learn how certain foods respond to your body, certain proteins, nuts, whether carbohydrates are your fuel, whether you like eating those, or fats are your goal, and those fuel you better. Those are some things that you want to definitely trial and error on. The third one is differentiating what you want to do. If your goal is bodybuilding and you want to focus on bodybuilding, that's your goal, okay? That means that you're not power lifter. You're not a power lifter, okay? And this is like where the lines always get blurred. If your goal is powerlifting, you know, but you want your physique to match the powerlifting, it's not always going to do it. For example, you always see those guys that are like, they're skinnier and you're like, there's no way that dude's going to lift that weight. You know, there's no way he's going to lift it, and he lifts it like it's nothing. Not a big dude, just an average looking dude that's lifting maximum weight, okay? So that's where the lines blur, because there's a big difference between bodybuilding and powerlifting, and even like the whole fitness aspect. Now, you can do those in conjunction with each other, but if you focus too much on, I want to be a power lifter, but I want to have bodybuilding results, right? Then you need to adjust your workouts. You need to adjust your calories. You need to adjust the way that you do things. If you're on the bodybuilding aspect and you want to be fit and bodybuilding, that's another thing that you can do. But not always if you're in the fitness part that you're gonna want to be a bodybuilder. You know, you can still lift weights. It's good to lift weights even if you are in the fitness aspect. You know, you always see it like really good runners, sprinters, and stuff like that. They will do heavy squats. You know, heavy squats, heavy legs. They'll do leg workouts more than they do any other workouts, and they'll excel because they know, if I want to achieve my running fitness goals, if I want to be faster, you know, I'm gonna have to do sprints here, and on these days I'm gonna have to weight lift. And so again, it's all tracking. Everything is tracking, and that is one of the hardest things and the easiest things to do. Hardest because it's boring. No one wants to do it. Nobody wants to track stuff. That's how people get injured. That's how people rip pecs. That's how people have tendon issues, tendonitis in your elbow, you know, knee pains, all that kind of stuff, growing pains. You're not tracking your body. You're not tracking your rest, you know, your calories, whether or not your workouts are too extreme or not extreme enough. And so differentiating what your goals are in particular is the most important thing. If you want to be a bodybuilder, I do recommend always doing cardio. And sure, like all these famous YouTubers and stuff always talk about that stuff. Like, make sure you get in your cardio, make sure you do this. It is very important, even if you are a natural athlete. If you are a natural athlete, because you need to focus on your liver health, your kidney health, your heart health, because those all matter, especially with your calories. So if you're trying to bulk up, you know, and you want to do a heavy bulk, your heart could be extremely challenged by that. You know, especially if you're doing like a dirty bulk and you're just eating a bunch of crap. Like, your LDL levels could be insane. You know, you could be having so much protein, not enough fiber, not enough water, and you know, your bilirubin and your liver could be all out of whack. You know, your kidneys could be all out of whack trying to process how much of that protein is coming in and out of your body. How much of that food that's unhealthy that you're taking in is being processed inside of your body. So you definitely want to differentiate what you want to do, but overall I say, no matter what you do, I do recommend doing cardio, whether it's bodybuilding. You don't have to do like massive amounts. The recommended a week is like 150 minutes or something like that, which is like 30 minutes over 5 days. It's really not that much. Either just get it in quick after your workout, before your workout, just something low intensity, steady state cardio. Cardio, no matter what you're doing, even if you're like a power lifter, you may want to get in some cardio still, just to have a healthy heart, just so that the longevity comes in, because longevity is key. You want longevity in powerlifting, you want longevity in bodybuilding, you want longevity in fitness. And how are you going to do that? You're going to do that by getting in the cardio, working your heart, because your heart is the main muscle, right? Because you're not gonna build any muscle, you're not gonna build any progress at all if your heart isn't working, right? Because obviously it's just gonna stop working. So that's the number one thing that I recommend is definitely getting in your cardio on top of everything else. So if you watched this far, thanks for watching.